This is a story based on true events happening right now. The story itself was written in hopes of educating the people. It was originally written for kids, but we decided it was too important not to throw out there for people of all ages. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and listen to one of the most important stories ever to be told.
Hey, my name is Jack, and you're going to have to put up with my voice for the next 15 minutes or so. And yes, Jack is not my real name. Once upon a time lived a man named John Lawrence. John Lawrence was a happy man. He lived with his wife, Matilda, and their 6 children. Now, John Lawrence decided to buy a farm and try his hand at farming. His wife, Matilda, liked the idea because she wanted their children to grow up in a healthy environment. After many long days of searching for the right kind of land and house, Lauren found what they believed to be the perfect farm. Mr. Lawrence checked his wallet and sadly realized that he did not have enough money to buy the farm, but he and his family dearly loved the little farmhouse and its farmland. So what did Mr. Lawrence do? He went to the bank to take out a loan. Mr. Lawrence contemplated how much money he would need to borrow from the bank and decided that $100 would be just right. So one blustery day, Mr. Lawrence headed out to town. He was very excited because he knew that once he borrowed the $100 from the bank, he would be able to buy the little farmhouse. And when he bought that house, he would be able to grow many wonderful things on the farm. He would be able to grow corn and potatoes and wheat and to make bread with. Once he was able to grow those wonderful kind of things, he would sell them at the marketplace so other people would be able to buy them and feed their own families. Everyone will be happy, Mr. Lawrence thought, walking into the bank. I just cannot wait to buy that farm. My wife and children will be so glad. Here is Mr. Lawrence at the bank, speaking with one of the bankers there. The banker was saying, and so I will happily give you the $100 you need to buy your farm, as long as you give it back to me in no more than 5 years. Of course, Mr. Lawrence cried out happily. 5 years is certainly long enough to give you back your money. Good then. In just one more matter we must discuss, the banker said, folding his hands. Since the money is mine, I shall like that 5 interest wouldn't be too unfair. 5% interest, of course. What is that exactly? Mr. Lawrence asked. Well, my dear sir, that merely means that we give me 5% more of the amount I loaned you. So 5% of $100, Mr. Lawrence pondered. That is $5. Yes, the banker nodded his head. By my generosity, you will only have to pay that 5% of the $100, plus the $100, of course. All right, that sounds fair. I'm sure my crop will bring plenty of money for the loan and interest. Mr. Lawrence nodded his head. Then we have a deal. The banker took out his hand, and they shook hands on the matter. There is only one teeny tiny detail, the banker said. I just need you to sign this paper in agreement to what we have just discussed, and that way the bank will know for a fact that you will pay this loan off, as an honest man. Of course, Mr. Lawrence smiled, signing the paper. After all, he was an honest man, and there was no reason why he would not pay off the $100. This is Farmer John Lawrence. He doesn't look happy, does he? Well, the problem is, the time for Mr. Lawrence to pay off his $100, plus the 5 extra dollars, the 5% interest, was tomorrow. And his crops had not done so well the past 5 years, and he did not have enough money to pay the banker. The past 5 years had been a bad one. There had been a drought, which means there was not enough rain to help the crops grow, and so the crops were quite ruined. There wasn't much left to sell at the marketplace, and so Mr. Lawrence's money problems began. Aside from the bad crops, Mr. Lawrence had only earned enough money to pay for groceries and other things needed for he and his family to live, like the rent. He had earned that $100 to pay off the banker, but there was just not enough money to pay the extra 5% of the loan. You see, the interest, which was $5 extra, had grown over the past 5 years, and since it was $5 a year, Mr. Lawrence had to pay the bank exactly $125 total. But he did not have enough money. He had exactly $105, and that certainly was not enough. The day came for Mr. Lawrence to pay back the bank. He sadly trudged into town, ready to tell the banker his problems. Perhaps they will reconsider and give me another year or so to pay back the interest. After all, these are businessmen, and another year should not make too much difference, Mr. Lawrence thought to himself. Well, considering the bad spot you are in, being generous businessmen, the bank will loan you enough money to pay back the remaining interest. The banker decided, smiling at Mr. Lawrence. How much money did you have left to pay? $20, sir, Mr. Lawrence replied. All right, then, we will certainly loan you an extra $10. You can? Oh, sir, you are most generous. Yes. Well, we only ask that you pay only 5% of the $10, plus the $10 at the end for the year, of course.